If you enjoy what we do here, you should definitely check out youtube.com/@MWPNewsGaming. It's our new YouTube channel where we do basically talking like this while also playing video games, old games, older games. We'd like to do new games, but those cost money. So old games, older games, retro games, forgotten games, all kinds of games. While I talk about it, get frustrated, all that kind of cool stuff. We talk about, movies, TV shows, anything like that. youtube.com/@MWPNewsGaming. Please be sure you subscribe. That'll help us out a lot. And if you feel like we're doing a good job, please donate. co-fi.com/MWPnews. Thank you and enjoy this episode. Good evening and welcome to Beware of Spoilers. I am Adam. So, I have now seen Jurassic World. I'm going to keep calling it Dominion in my head. I'm not entirely sure why. I know it's not Dominion or Fallen Kingdom. It's Rebirth, the new one. And I'll say this. I can't say I had positive expectations for this movie. I can't. I was very, turned off by Dominion. I don't think Dominion worked. I'm going to keep mixing those two up, so I'm just going to, apologize in advance for continuing to fuck that up. But Rebirth was, Dominion was not great. I liked some of the, they took some interesting swings, and I think that's something that's, that I don't want to say should be applauded necessarily, but all right, maybe not for the big, event version of Jurassic Park, but they took some swings, and I think they did some interesting things. And I think that it was kind of a smart idea to go back to Gareth Edwards, who has this history of dealing with monster movies. He can shoot that well. We saw it with Godzilla. He's good at dealing on these smaller budget projects, or not smaller budget, but doing monster movies kind of minimalist. And I think he does that very well. And I think that the conceit that brings us back into this world is kind of interesting. The idea that, the dinosaurs that were released by Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard and the child clone thing, they're dying out because the environment is inhospitable to dinosaurs. So the dinosaurs are all dying out, but they discover that dinosaurs live a very long time and their DNA could hold, and because they're so big, the heart muscles require a lot of energy, so they need to figure out what it is that keep them alive so long, and we can use that as a drug to, what's it called, to, what's the one for here, prevent heart disease. That was what it was. So it's kind of an interesting conceit. So they got to go and get the three largest, the Mosasaurus, who killed Lena Luthor in Jurassic World, and then the Quetzal something, which is the flying one, and the Titanosaurus, which is a giant, Brontosaurus, herbivore. So they got to go do that. It's an interesting idea. Now, there's something I could do without in this movie, and it's the fucking family. The family takes far too much time. There's not really much payoff to it, aside from the fact that, the little girl ends up being, if you ever played Lego Star Wars, you know what I'm talking about, where it's young Anakin has no real role in the game. He doesn't have weapons, he doesn't have any real abilities, but he can crawl into little spaces. That's kind of what the entire point of the family is in this, because I look, we get to the end, I don't care about any of them, and I think all it does is it creates this weird situation where, why do we keep going back to this family? Oh, because we need a little girl to do whatever she's doing. which is squeezed out to get there. The giant mutated dinosaur is kind of cool looking, and I appreciate that. But again, I have a lot of issues with kind of the way they've built out this world. Number one, this is a running issue that I've had with the Jurassic World, Rebirth, revival franchise. I don't think electronics work the way they do in this movie, or boats, or cars, or anything like that. The idea that, these things would still be in working order after being abandoned for 17 years is kind of ridiculous. I don't think that's reflective of reality. And if InGen has the ability to build these consumer electronics and cars and boats that can sit idle and not be touched for 17 years and then suddenly work, that's something that is, kind of weird, that that's not your primary source of income. Why fuck around with dinosaurs if you can build a battery that can sit on a shelf for 17 years and still work? That's kind of something that you feel important. The fact that the entire movie kind of starts with a security system malfunctioning in a really stupid way kind of put me in a weird mood about it. There's a lot of front-loaded exposition. None of it really pays off, which is kind of a shame. Because it's going to make me sit through all of that, at least make it relevant to the story, or at least make me feel like I'm going to care about these characters. It's just, shorthand for, this is why you should care about this person, instead of, making me care about the person organically, which kind of disappointing. And then it's again, we get back to this issue of humans don't care about dinosaurs. And it's I still don't understand the timeline here, and I think that that's kind of another issue with this entire reboot franchise, where it's we talk about it when me and Peter saw Jurassic World, very early on we did a commentary track for Jurassic World, very early. Maybe I'll re-upload it this weekend as an episode of 30-minute reviews, just so that way, we can do that. I'll re-upload that, because I think I still have the file on my hard drive. But we did a commentary track with Jurassic World, and I know we talked about it in person. I don't know if we did when we did the when we watched it and we did the commentary. But one of the things was the movie works if you're familiar with the idea of the fact that Jurassic Park was a movie that came out, but you don't remember the specifics of the movie. Because they reference a previous park that was open, but in Jurassic Park, the park was never open to the public. This is hey, we're showing you this cool thing we did, come check it out, as before we open to the public. And the park never opened, and it was kind of kept a secret. So, when we get to Jurassic World, it's oh, there's the original park in here. And it's okay, cool. But people reference, oh, the original park was really cool, but no one ever went to the original park. It's kind of just a weird discontinuity that kind of plays this entire thing. And then it comes back into play here. This idea that, oh, people have been seeing dinosaurs all their lives. It's and I think it's someone says to Loomis, he's hey, so you saw these as a kid. I'm Loomis appears to be about my age, which means that again, we're operating in this weird situation where the park of Jurassic Park was there, and it's was Jurassic World open for quite some time? And after what happened at Jurassic Park, how quickly did they go back to Jurassic World? Because they never mention it in either The Lost World or Jurassic Park 3. Hey, by the way, we're doing another park. Either way, it's it's kind of just a weird situation. Because it's even if they started development after Jurassic Park 3, which is the early 2000s, if not very late 90s, I want to say 03, 04. I think that it's kind of just a weird decision. That they keep talking about it as if the park was open. And I think that that's the kind of thing that muddies the timeline. I don't understand why that's something that needs to be stated. And I think, too, from what this movie... there are a few other things that really bothered me. Number one, I don't think that we should have known that the island they were on was the R&D island for that. It would have been cool for them to slowly discover weird shit on the island. Yeah, it's an island of dinosaurs, because they've talked about how, dinosaurs relocated to these islands because that's where they can live safely, and the humans have kind of cordoned off, these are going to be preserved, we're going to let the dinosaurs live out their lives, and then when they die, we're done with this bullshit. That, that's the kind of thing that would have been cool if they get there, they find that helicopter that crashed, and it's oh shit, so there's a there's other things here besides what we've seen, and then we start seeing the mutations, and it's oh fuck, we're on that island. And then they get to the facility, it's oh shit, okay, this is where they created that thing, and then that could be the thing that's here. It's that would have been interesting. But the idea that that's not how it happens, and it's we know from the beginning, oh no, we're going to the R&D island, I feel like that was a mistake. I feel like the thing they said very early on in the press materials, where it's oh, that's the cool thing about a movie like this, is anyone can die. And I was yeah, but everyone you thought was gonna die died. There was no surprise death. The only surprise, there was a surprise not death, because I thought for certain they were just gonna let Mahershala Ali get killed. Cause I was okay, cool, heroic sacrifice. He lost his entire crew. All right, this is a good way for him. I'm okay with him going out like this. I think that would work. I don't understand why they didn't commit to that, and they had him, they had him survive. That was a silly decision, but it's just kind of ridiculous. And again, the whole thing with the family, I have no attachment to any of these characters. I don't care about who. Oh wait, why am I going this way? I don't care who any of them are. I don't want to see. I don't care about any of them. They try to make you. They endear you to the little girl a little bit because she's got the little baby dinosaur that she kills with. But I don't care. We're introduced to this family. Let me just paint a picture here for you, for those of you who haven't seen the movie yet. We're introduced to this family through because they're out on this boat in the dinosaur-infested waters because reasons. It's the dad and his two daughters, and then the older daughter's boyfriend. And they're out in these dinosaur-infested waters for reasons, and okay, sure, I guess. So then the mosasaur capsizes the ship, and is just all right, fuck off, bye, and leaves. So then they get rescued by Scarlett Johansson and her crew. And they go out rescue, and then they find the mosasaur, and they didn't really explain any of that, but sure, why not? So they do all of that. They but the minute we're introduced to them, the boyfriend's immediately unlikable. He's oversleeping. They have to take watches while they're doing this, not because they're in dinosaur-infested waters, of course, but because they're at sea. They have to take watches. The boyfriend's sleeping through. He doesn't want to do it. He's hanging out, and it's the idea that the dad's just shitting on the boyfriend. The daughter, the daughter is the whole thing is kind of unlikable from the beginning, and it doesn't get too much better from there. It's the boyfriend dies in after, and that's supposed to be the moment that endears you to the boyfriend, but it's he's still a selfish prick. It's one of those things where it's I don't know that the boyfriend did that because he actually loves the daughter, because I never get any sense of any what's I'm looking for. I never get any sense of positivity, or there's no chemistry between the two of them. They very rarely share any screen time, and it's it's just one of those things where it's why not just it's the same issue I had with Dominion, where it's there's that scene where someone could have they could have killed the dad off, they could have killed the boyfriend off. They probably wouldn't kill the daughter, either of the daughters, because I feel like the optics, children typically make it out of these movies safe, and the older daughter, while in college, they just killed off the one girl. I don't typically they don't like to do that kind of thing in these kind of movies. It's a weird it's so bizarre in so many ways. I'm just like, why was this here? Because you could have shaved a good 20 minutes off the runtime by just not following this fucking family that's just doing nothing. Like, you get to the end and it's like, there's that, like, oh, well, we needed, like, the gate being down and the youngest daughter needing to squeeze through is entirely there to justify their existence for the rest of the movie, when you could have used a rope. Like, you could have used, like, oh, well, the switch was the other way. Like, it's a fucking movie. Just, turn the switch the other way. Like, there are plenty of options you could have done to do that without having this family there. Because there's nothing added by having the family. It's just, they're just there to kill screen time. Movie could have been an hour and a half, an hour 45, and it would have been a lot cleaner, I think, without that family. And I think that, like, you could have had more time to really, like, ultimately what ends up happening is, because there are so many characters, none of them really get fully exposited or developed in a way that I care about any of them. It's like, Zora wants money. That's Scarlett Johansson's character. I'm not entirely sure, what, like, we don't really get enough time with her to see her change her mind, but by the end of the movie, she's like, no, let's open source this thing, which, again, it's like, we have to do a lot of work here. We can't just open source this. It's not like we're going to just inject people with the dinosaur DNA and be done with it. There's other steps here. But, like, I see this and I'm like, why was this the decision they went with? Why, like, you could have done without the family and we could have had all these characters be better. Like, literally everything else in the movie functions exactly the same without the family, including the corporate guy from Not InGen pulling the gun. Like, I feel like the family is there specifically because you can't do the river sequence that they're clearly itching to do, because they were talking about, oh, we did the river sequence from the book. We finally did the river sequence from the book that we didn't do in the first movie that we should have. We finally did it, which was completely underwhelming to me. I didn't understand why that was something that, they needed to jerk themselves off as constantly as they did over. And then now that we had it, I was like, okay, cool, I guess. But, like, I don't buy... Like, I don't buy that the team of scientists and military people would have ended up in that situation. So you need to have that group there to do it. But, like, I don't need that. And the other thing is, like, the entire conceit, I feel like I'm jumping around a lot. I feel like I do this a lot. But the entire conceit that, like, oh, people don't care about dinosaurs anymore. It's like, yeah, you tell me that constantly across all 4 of these movies now. Like, people don't care about dinosaurs anymore. They don't care. Everywhere we go, when we encounter dinosaurs, with the exception of the streets of New York City early on in the movie, everywhere we go with dinosaurs, people are in fucking awe of them. I'm like, you mean to tell me people don't give a shit? Like, it's so stupid. It's such a dumb conceit. Like, and it's like, because it's like, the characters who are seeing the dinosaurs have to be the way in. Like, it's such a dumb thing, too, because it's like, oh, they're in captivity, and it's like, you can see them anytime, and it's like, yeah, that's true. That's why we don't have zoos. Like, zoos definitely exist. Like, it's so fucking dumb. And I don't know. Like, I would say this is, like, a 3. Because I think the issue is, it's like, there are a few moments very early on that tell you the characters that have plot armor and the ones that don't. And to that end, it's like, if you're doing a movie like this, you have to make it where I can conceivably believe every character will die. And I, at no point during this, did I think that any character would die, except for when Mahershala Ali ran off to scare away the mutant. Aside from that specific moment, I did not feel a single time that, like, oh shit, maybe they'll die here. Oh shit, maybe this person will die here. Oh shit, like, at no point did I think that, because very early on they tried to do that, and they just never committed to any of it. So it's like, by the time you get to the end, it's like, okay, so everyone's gonna be fine. Okay, so everyone's gonna be fine. Okay, so everyone's gonna be fine. Okay, moving on. Next scene. Alright, cool. Like, which is, if you're doing these things where dinosaurs are chasing people around this island, you gotta make me care about the people. And if you're not gonna make me care about the people, and you're not gonna tell me, oh, this one might get killed here, then what are we doing? We're wasting 2 hours and 10 minutes of my time. Well, more than that, because fucking AMC is padding on more time onto their stuff to do more advertisements. It's bizarre. Yeah, I would say a 3, though. Because, like, it's, like, in the rankings, I would say this is probably my least favorite. I don't think it's as bad as some of the other ones. Because, like, I think this franchise as a whole is, like, Jurassic Park number 1, Jurassic World number 2, and then you can put anything else below that in any order, and I'll be like, alright, I see that. Because I don't think that, like, Dominion's necessarily the worst. Because, like, this is just, like, this movie's not worse than Dominion, but I'd rather watch Dominion because at least it has Jeff Goldblum and the rest of the cast. Like, that's the thing, too, is that it's, like, the only reason I would say that, like, this is worse than all of them is that it's, like, Chris Pratt has an interesting charisma as whatever the fuck his character's name is, I'm forgetting. And I remember Claire, but, like, I don't have an attachment to any character from this movie. Contrast that with leaving Jurassic Park, where you have that immediate attachment to Alan, to Laura Dern, whose name I'm forgetting, and what the fuck was the other one's name? Jeff Goldblum's character. Whatever. Like, you leave that movie immediately endeared to them. You leave Jurassic World immediately endeared to Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard. You do not leave this movie immediately endeared to anyone. And that is fundamentally kind of why I'm down on this movie, is that it's like, I don't see a way for this to go forward, and I don't necessarily want it to go forward because I don't need to see any of this continue. Like, I don't need to see, like, this family, I never want to see them again. I have no desire to see this family show up ever again in anything Jurassic Park related. I don't know who the actors are, but definitely I don't need to see them any more Jurassic Park movies. And I definitely don't want to see what's it called ever happening. Like, I don't care about Zora. I don't care about Henry. I don't care about or Henry Loomis. Is that, I know his last name's Loomis. Am I mixing up Loomis here? Loomis from Halloween. But it's like, I don't want to see any of them again, ever. Like I have no desire to see any of them. The only endearing, like, camaraderie I've seen between two people in this movie was when we got Loomis and Duncan together. They had, and that was one very brief moment, but it was the best chemistry between two characters in the movie, and it was like 3 seconds long. I don't know. It's a 3. Go, check it out if you want. If you like Jurassic Park, I'm sure you'll find something to like here. There's like the design of the mutant is kind of cool. The kind of like Rancor mixed with a xenomorph kind of design. I dig that, but I don't think that's enough to carry you through the movie. In the same way that, like, even like Jurassic World, like, even if you don't like the entire movie for Jurassic World up until the very end, the dinosaur fight at the end is awesome. Like, it gets you through. You don't have that here. But, whatever. We'll wrap up there for today. We'll do Ironheart probably tomorrow. I forgot to watch it last night. But until our next episode, have a great rest of your week.